DeMeco liking what he saw from all three phases, and we like this. Zach Tawatari, J.J. Moses, author, speaker, former Texans receiver is
Let's
here.
go.
And our regular, former Texan Seth Payne from SportsRadio 610.
I don't speak or author. I guess I speak, but yeah, okay, yeah.
You speak?
Yeah.
Mondays from 6 to 10.
10, 8, yeah, that's what they tell me. I just show up.
Okay. All right, and now, which emoji best describes what we saw on Sunday against the Cardinals? Seth is leading us
I'm
off.
a professional speaker that I am. I'm going to come on over and give my just plain and simple happy. I love that this game didn't necessarily unfold the way we thought it would. I didn't expect Jawhar Jordan to play, much less be a 100-plus yard rusher for the first time this season. That was a very positive development. Some things to clean up. And the defense, we're in a position where somehow we're disappointed when they allow 20 points. That's how good they are. But I'm very happy.
Well, I'm going to take another interesting take, Jason. And I feel with it going into this week, and we're obviously seeing the Texans defense continues to emerge each and every week. Most offensive groups that's coming in playing the Houston Texans, they are afraid, they're sad, they're like, oh my goodness, what do we get ourselves into each and every week? You see all these star players that the Houston Texans have. Anderson, of course, you got Stingley Jr., you have, this list, Alshire, these guys are phenomenal. Each and every week, they are shutting it down. You do not want to see the Houston Texans defense.
All right, I like that.
I'm believing anything JJ says because he's wearing velvet.
I know.
So I believe anything he says.
I'm sympathetically sweating.
But I personally am also going to go with the happy face. Plain and simple, how nice is that to have that kind of a reaction after a game like this where the offense scores 40 points and 17 in the first quarter, finally off to a good start?
Without a doubt, and I am right here as well. I love how JJ picks an emoji for the other team. That is a first here on Sports Extra. I like that kind of initiative. So that is what we're saying, and now here's what the Texans are saying inside NRG with Luis Ortiz. And Seth, you talked about the running game. We saw the push from the offensive line. This game and the success they had running the football, was that all the offensive line, or is it a situation where you're playing this Arizona defense?
Well, some of it was that Jawhar Jordan had a 50-yard run, so with credit to him and the offensive line for getting that done, not to mention Cade Stover and Nico Collins with their blocking on that play. But on a down-by-down basis, I'm still left wanting, but they did do some good things versus a bad run defense that were you have to give them credit for. The thing that I get concerned about is this 6 offensive lineman jumbo package. I get really nervous that they lean into it so heavily because you're adding an offensive lineman onto the field, which means you're taking away a receiving option. And you'd like to get some big benefit from that in the run game. Like, okay, great, that turns you into bruising run blockers. And I don't think it really does. Well, it also weakens them in the passing game. And that's where I don't want them to overly rely on that.
Well, think about this. If you utilize and you don't have a Joe Mixon, then if you have Chubbs who's out, and then, of course, you have the loss of, what was the running back?
Woody Marks, yeah.
And then you bring in a practice squad running back by the name of Jordan, and he comes in and he rushes for 101 yards. To me, you have to give credit, friends, where credit is due. That offensive line, man, is playing phenomenal. I had talked to Titus Howard just a few weeks ago, and again, he's up and hopefully making, I don't know if he's going to make the Pro Bowl or not, but he's playing at a proto-style type level. And so that's where I'm just so confident with this offensive line because they were getting so much heat throughout the season. And I had an opportunity, of course, to mentor Titus when he came in as a rookie. And just to see the trajectory of where this offensive line group is going, man, it's phenomenal, you guys.
Listen, I think we can all agree that this group is better. And, they've played the Bills. They're a tough team. The Chiefs had a lot to play for. Overall, though, since the insertion of Trent Brown in the lineup, it's been a better group overall.
Yeah, I do agree with Seth. I worry that they get over-reliant on that jumbo package, but I do have to say, I think we have to give credit where credit is due. They're clearly playing better overall than they were earlier in the season, and I really did like seeing today outside of the run game some of those intermediate passes, the 12 to 15-yard range. They were getting Dalton Schultz a lot more involved today.
Yeah.
It seems like things are becoming more balanced.
I think the one thing about the offensive line where you have to credit Cole Popovich, the offensive line coach, they are much more fundamentally sound than they were last year. A lot of the really just the mind-numbing mistakes they would make, or I guess me at home for the away games would just be flipping out and throwing couch cushions and things. You don't see those. Like, they're a better coached, more disciplined unit, and even on the bad run plays, they're not generally tackles for a loss. their gains of a yard or two, which is light years ahead of where they were last year.
And also, you have to give credit to the running back group, of course, with Coach Danny Barrett. You know, he's done a phenomenal job. Each and every week, he's making sure that these running backs are getting ready to be prepared. And so that's what I'm excited for with this running back and the offensive line group.
I will say, though, I do believe that the scoring is too reliant on Kaimi Fairbairn. That's the one thing I didn't envision. I thought this offense would have more points, as in 6 touchdowns, you know, but that's what troubles me a little bit, that it's a little too reliant on Kaimi Fairbairn.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to struggle as much as they have in the red zone, but overall, I do feel that they've caught up. They were so far behind at first, and now it seems like they've caught up.
Yeah, and that's where, when we talk about the run game, part of it is, look, they were 2 for 5 on their first 5 trips to the red zone today. They're they're second from last in red zone touchdown scoring in the NFL. That's where, when you get down and you have to run the football, teams don't really respect their run game down there, and it makes it a lot tougher to operate.
By the way, DeMeco said he didn't realize that they had won 6 in a row. Do we believe that?
Go ahead, Seth.
I believe it. Am I naive, though?
Well, I do believe it. So I was with the team in 2018.
Yeah.
And we were knowledgeable about each and every game when we won 9 games straight with, of course, with Bill O'Brien at the head coaching job that year. And so we were, each and every week, we took account on how many games we were winning, and that was something we were looking forward to each and every week. So I really believe this. You are absolutely counting how many games in a row you're winning.
That's what I thought.
You have to.
I don't know. Well, this is the thing. I think DeMeco lives by his motivational slogans. A lot of coaches put motivational slogans up on the wall, and you get midway through the season, and they're yelling at you about something, and I'm like, hey, what about the whole, forget about last week? It's Saturday, and you're yelling at me about last week.
Right.
What about the short memory stuff? I do think DeMeco really tries to live by it, like almost religiously by those things. And I just choose to believe that, yes, he didn't know that it was a 5-game win streak going into today.
It is the season of believing, right?
Yeah,
it should be.
It has to be.
Yeah. Give me pitch me something. I'll buy it.
Success.
We shall see.
All right. Well, we are not done talking Texans. All of that and more is coming up on Sports Extra. We are back on Sports Extra. 3 games to go for these 9-5 Texans. How do we think these games will play out? That's why JJ and Seth are heading to the big board to break it down for us, guys.
Let's go.
Raiders should be simple enough. It's kind of like today. It's a take care of business type of week.
Okay.
It's at home. The Texans should win that game. We in agreement on that?
I'm in agreement. So let's put that big dub right there.
If the Texans win next week, they've got an 80% chance of making the playoffs, even if they lose these 2 games. So the Chargers are the biggest challenge there. The Colts game might be meaningless for the Colts and the Texans by that point, but the Chargers are the big one.
So you're going to give them a big L? What do you think, Seth?
I'm going to give it. It's on the road. They've got a really good defense.
I think I'm going to go an L on this.
Oh,
I'm going to keep it real. I'm keeping it real.
No.
I got to keep it real.
Let's make it hard.
I think it's going to be hard. It's not going to be this easy.
Right.
I mean, we're not just going to keep giving W's.
Winning 7 games in a row is really, really difficult. Now, if they win versus the Colts, Phillip Rivers, if he's still standing upright at this point, it's a miracle. They've got a 99% chance of going to the playoffs if they win next week and then just win one of these games.
Exactly.
All right. That's pretty good, guys. Why don't you come back here, and now we will talk about this. Phillip Rivers coming back at the age of 44 nearly leads the Colts to a victory. I'm wondering, how many years into your retirements did you finally realize, nope, I won't be able to do this anymore?
Well, I was in denial. It's one of those things as a player, Seth, you can allude to this, but you always feel that you maybe have one more game left or that you can still honestly play. But to be honest with you, of course, when you have these injuries and you're having these setbacks, your body begins to slow down and you're not able to perform. So for me, I might think I still got a little something.
Even now you can play.
Even now.
For one,
maybe I'm a kick off a punt returner, man.
Yeah.
So who knows?
For me, it was the first time I went back and stood on the sidelines of an NFL game, and I'm looking around like, this is dumb. And I don't know how I used to do this, and I don't want to do it again. Cecil Shorts brought up a good point today in the pregame. when they offer you the money, all of a sudden that can start working on your brain. I'm sitting here right now saying it would be idiotic for me to ever step on a football field again. I don't know. I'm not saying I can't be bought. Right. Unfortunately, the Texans are stacked at defensive tackle, and they don't need a 240-pound one.
So what price what's the weight?
I don't know.
So what price would it take? What price for both of you to go back?
I mean, first of all, what is the league minimum right now to be on practice squad? Let's just talk about that. Is it
for
around
a veteran? It's like $800,000 or something.
$800,000.
But that's for if you make it a year.
Just to be on a practice squad.
Yeah.
You practice.
Not for a practice squad.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just practice. If you on practice squad, you just practice what? Mondays. You're off on Tuesdays, and then Wednesday, you come back.
Friday, yeah.
So boom, and then Saturday's a walkthrough.
Yeah.
So I could take that job each and every day.
I've got a hernia as we speak right now. It's not happening.
It's not happening.
No.
Oh man, it is so great to have Seth Payne and JJ Moses, former teammates here on Sports Extra. Guys, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing both of you again together sometime soon.
I want to write a book just like JJ. Look it up on Amazon.
My brother from another mother right here. Let's go.